What up, everyone?
Hi, friends.
We're back with another video with my partner Devin here, and today we wanted to cover the topic of how to successfully manifest your specific person. I know this is a huge topic on the internet nowadays. Everybody, across YouTube, on Reddit, all on like TikTok, it's basically become a huge topic of interest for people. People have become more and more open to the possibility of putting out what you want, putting out your intention of what it is that you want. And for a lot of people, one of those most important things, they say health, wealth, and relationships are the most important aspects of one's life. So for a lot of people, that is their person, finding their person. And so today I wanted to give you guys a success story of how we basically manifested each other and basically just share with you guys what that process was like, how we both what it was like for each of us from each of our perspectives, and kind of share with you guys some insight so that you guys can hopefully find some success and find something helpful out of what we have to share from our own experience.
I'll let you go first on this one.
Okay, all right. So basically, I want to start off by saying, first of all, just like with anything in life, it's very important to know, and anything that you're putting out an intention for, it's very important to have clarity and be clear with what it is that you want, because that clarity is going to basically paint the picture in your inner world, what it is that you're creating, what it is that you're choosing for yourself. And that's also going to inform what types of action you're taking, what type of person you're going to be becoming. Because let's say that if I was interested in a certain type of person, I know that me showing up in a certain type of way is going to be more attractive for various different types of people. Like let's say, because we all show up in different types of way depending on if we're at work, if we're with our family members, if we're with whoever. And so
so the type of yourself you put out attracts.
Exactly. And your own self-concept. And so it's very important to get dialed in with who you're wanting to attract, because that will allow you to, be the version of yourself that is going to be the perfect person for the person that you want, for your perfect person. So for me, what I can say through my experience, over the years, I've actually had a lot of clarity on certain aspects of what I want in a partner, down to the eye color, down to the color of the hair, which was really crazy because she has both blue eyes. And when I first met her, her hair was this kind of strawberry blonde, and it kind of is right now, but it even had more kinds of shades of red in it when we first met, which was literally what I've imagined. But on a much more deeper level than physical, it's I literally wrote down all the traits, personality traits, energy and type of energy traits. I wanted somebody who was kind, caring, basically somebody who's very emotionally open and willing to share their feelings and how they feel. Somebody who has great communication, who we can have very open communication with, who feels like they can tell me anything. Somebody who's very appreciative of me and almost admiring of me for all the different qualities that I have, and is vocal about that. And somebody also that really is feminine, which you are, very feminine. You like to take care of yourself. You like to, eat healthy. We've been eating really healthy. You have healthy habits. You like to wake up early. You're a positive person. All of these types of stuff, right? You really want to go in detail on the type of person that you want. And then another thing that I really like too is I wrote that my person loves to cook for me, because to me, that's something that's important to me. And that's why it's so crucial for each of you when you're doing this and going about this process. You have to figure out what is important to you, because there's a lot of people out there, a lot of guys I don't know. All I can know is what I like and what's important to me. And that is something that I find genuinely important. And it's a lot of women that I've ran into, especially younger women, we've joked about this before, but they're proud of the fact, or they brag about the fact that they know how to make toast, or that they know how to make cereal. And it's just it has become more of a thing recently on social media where people are more into cooking and stuff. But for a long time, it was almost trendy or cool to brag about not being able to cook, especially for girls that I would run into, girls that I would meet or like see online or whatever. And so the fact that she is literally a chef and she loves to cook for me was just amazing. And then even as we met, even as we were first getting to know each other, like the first time I came over here, I told her that this is the kitchen of 1,000 meals. And that was just me speaking that into existence too. And we've literally been filming, we probably cooked already hundreds of meals here, and we've been filming them, we've been putting them online, and like I said, just cooking like really, really good nourishing foods too. Like that also not only are so healthy, but they're also delicious. And that is, like I said, really important to me because I value my health. I value including the right food in my diet, but also the caring and that type of feminine energy of a woman that wants to cook for me was like always something that was very important to me. So that's something that was, like I said, and so for you, that might be something different, but figuring out what that is and what all these qualities are is very imperative to this process. The last thing that I'll say before I let you get into it is that I also know for a fact that the process of attracting a woman, if you're a man in today's day and age, is different than attracting a man as a woman, and it's different than attracting a man as a man. Like all of these different things are all different, right? So what I had to understand for myself too is that in today's dating climate, now we had quarantine and a lot of these other things going on, the opportunity to use online dating is something that I had to use to my advantage too. Like I wasn't, I could go out and meet people in person, and I've actually always preferred that. But we actually met through Tinder. And one thing that I had to know and I had to get down for myself is like this idea of inspired action too. It's not like all just sitting there and hoping that it's gonna work. It's something I realized with my creating my Tinder profile is that over the years, I wasn't getting as good results on Tinder as like the quality of people I was meeting in real life were much better than the matches I was getting on Tinder. And so I had to go in and really work on my profile. And I think this is more important as a guy, but from a guy's perspective, I just want to share this, that getting your photos dialed in, getting all of that dialed in with Tinder is very important because women just have so many options when it comes to the dating market, but especially the online dating market, that you will, if you don't have a profile that stands out, you will get just lost in the sauce. And that's just one extra thing that I wanted to throw in there as far as a tangible thing that definitely made a difference. But yeah, I mean, with that being said, what was your experience like? Because I know we talked about it the other day.
Yeah, I mean, a lot like what you said, reiterating it is knowing yourself, knowing your non-negotiables, what you're very firm on, your boundaries, your comfort, what you're willing to take a risk on, but also no, that's not cool with me. And I learned in the past, sometimes I would compromise myself, things that I really valued and hold to myself for a relationship. And you shouldn't, that's not what a relationship is. It's meeting a person halfway. Sometimes it's 60-40, sometimes it's 70-30, but whenever there's still that even grounds of respect for what you and your partner are comfortable with. And I just realized no, I'm not going to compromise. Like he said, health is very big for me. Eating right, being active, adventuring and experiencing life is just very huge things, and I don't want to miss out on that. And I remember whenever we first met, we had met up a few times, and we asked each other, I asked him, I was like, what are you looking for? What are you trying to get out of this? And you just turned it right back at me, and you're like, what are you looking for out of this? And I
think
said,
this was actually the first time that we met that we had this conversation.
Probably. And I just said, someone who's like-minded, someone who is open to experiences, someone active, and what I had just gone over. And he was like, me too. And so we just kept hanging out, and I feel like some of you might be able to relate, but going out on dates, and especially if you're dating online or something like that, it feels like an interview on your first date, like, oh, what are your basically 5-year plan? What's your this? What's your mother's maiden name? Just like weird stuff, right? And with Alex, it felt very natural. It felt no pressure, people having fun hanging out, trying to appreciate one another, trying to learn the other person. That's one thing that I told you too, is that like, I want to be learned. And you were very respectful of that. And it was recently where we were talking and I was just kind of looking at you, and we had already talked about how we felt like we had manifested each other, and I never really went too much into the detail, but it really was like the personality traits were there, appreciated me, encouraged me, wants to see what a partner is, wants to see you succeed, wants to build with you. And then going, kind of surface level than that, telling him how one of the first compliments I gave him was I liked his central incisors, which if you don't know, it's your 2 middle teeth. Obsessed with them. Brown eyes, brown hair, thick brown hair. Almost just every detail to his nose and his lips and his chin, his jaw. And I feel like if you really just know yourself, you look in yourself and you become the type of person you want to receive, you will find that person for you.
Yeah, that's crazy. It is crazy because we didn't talk at length in as much detail about this up until literally like a couple days ago. But she told me that she literally had imagined all of these things physically about me, even down to my voice. How I had like this like kind of lower tone, like growl, you said is what you called it, and like just all of these different things, like the way that I carried myself, and all of these kinds of almost, they're tangible, but some of them are kind of like a little bit intangible qualities that are there. It just kind of was very eye-opening because I didn't realize that she had imagined that to that extent. And she's very complimentary of me. Like, I really appreciate that too, because that's something that I've always liked and wanted as well. But she'll give me these compliments from time to time, and it's crazy because the compliments that she gives me are things that she wanted, I guess, in me, or like really admires in me. And they're also compliments that I have always wanted to be complimented for. Like, she will tell me that, she thinks that I'm so smart or so intelligent. But the thing is that's crazy is like, I really feel like it's genuine coming from her, because I've been complimented by people before in the past for various things, but she's just so genuine, and she has such a kind, open heart and caring energy about her that like the way she expresses these things to me, they make me feel actually so appreciated, like truly appreciated, which is what I've always wanted from a partner. And so it's really amazing. It's really amazing how we're both able to be, how this whole thing unfolded, really. The other thing I wanted to mention that she touched on as well is that was another thing that she mentioned about like inspiring each other. I've really wanted somebody with a growth mindset and somebody who's actually down to do creative stuff, because I've always wanted to do that. We talk about this all the time, that I feel like people in my life, it could have been, a lot of them were just friends of mine too, like other guy friends that I've had. It's like they say they want to do this creative shit, like yeah, but they don't actually follow through. And the thing that's been amazing about being with her is that all this creative stuff I've been wanting to do, she's open to it. Like the way that we started filming these reels to begin with was just messing around. I was just recording her cooking on Snapchat. We were doing like silly voices. She was doing like a southern accent because she was making like this southern food or whatever. And people on my Snapchat were just eating it up. They were like, oh my gosh, like this is hilarious. When's the next cooking episode gonna drop? And then we noticed that a lot of people are doing these on Reels, actually on Instagram, where everyone can see them. And we're like, well, let's just start doing it. So we just started one day. The first reel we did was like of a jalapeno burger. And it was just so fun. And her food is so good and it looks so good. I was like, let's just keep doing this. And so now here we are. And like I said, we mentioned this in a previous video that Kevin's, which is like a natural food company, they've actually requested us to go out and shoot some videos and stuff. And so it's all just kind of come together in a way where we really do, on all of these different levels that we've kind of described before. Like she's been into that creative stuff as well too. And I didn't know all this really. Like I kind of did. Like we mentioned it over time, but it really kind of just comes together at this point where it's like, not only are we on a personal level, we're compatible, but creatively, in our growth mindset, and the fact that we both want to travel, we both want to do, like, we both have a very, very similar way that we want to kind of grow, and being able to help each other grow in that way has just been really, really awesome. So,
I didn't know you wrote it down.
Wrote what down?
The quality.
Yeah, I told you that, didn't I?
No.
I think I did. I swear I did.
No.
I thought I had, but yeah, like I literally did. I literally wrote down like all those things that I mentioned. So yeah. Anyways, I don't know, like what else, if there's anything else we want to mention here. I guess that
just having that person, because we've talked about it before, and you've even made a few videos on it. Even your friends will not want to see you succeed. Like a lot of them want you to be in the box that is comfortable for them.
Yeah.
And we had a night where we're talking about our ambitions, and where we know, like, we express not to talk to people about it, because without going into too much detail, my parents have this cool hobby where they like to just stomp on my dream.
Oh, what was that thing that you had that you replied to them with that? You had like a witty comeback for that.
Oh yeah, I was like, are those shoes comfy for your, stomping on my goals all day?
Yeah, something like that. Like, it was like, I hope your feet don't get too...
Yeah, it's about like, I hope their shoes are comfortable.
Yeah, the way you stomp all over my dreams like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, so I've just been used to that, and every time I had told you something, either like an ambition I had or an insecurity I had that I was thinking about changing, I had a tiny, like, itty bitty little mole here. One of the first times we hung out, I told him that I hated it. He was like, well, if you don't like it, just get it removed. Whereas everyone else is just like, oh no, it's great, you should keep it, it's, you're beautiful. And I'm like, I don't think I'm not beautiful, it's just I don't like this one thing. And he's just like, yeah, get rid of it. I'm like, cool. And it's just very, I don't know, a person who's just supportive of that type of mindset and where your mind is going. And then we had a night, we were sharing our ambitions, and we're looking at each other. We both kind of had that realization where it's just like, I think that you're the first person who's believed in me, who truly, genuinely does believe in me and want to see me succeed. And he's like, I think you are too. And it was just such a lit and even organic moment, because we put no pressure on, like, even having a relationship. We even said, like, in the beginning, not really looking for a relationship, just want to meet some very forward thinking, like-minded people
and see where it goes. Like, that was I think a powerful thing that worked well in our favor, is just not putting too much pressure on it. We even discussed that in a previous video. When you put pressure on situations, there was a guy friend of yours where he's like constructing his Tinder bio, and he's going so hard with, looking for this and looking for this, and I want a woman, blah, blah, blah. It comes across as, like you said, like an interview. There's a lot of pressure attached to it. And that's one thing, like I said, I mentioned there is that difference. As a guy, especially, because, and it depends, right? Like, everybody's relationship dynamic is different, but Devin is a feminine girl. tend to rest more in my masculine energy, and so I'm gonna be leading the interaction. So if I'm leading and pacing things, I need to be not doing it in such a hardcore pressure type of way where it's just gonna turn people off. I just noticed that immediately. We both noticed that. She just had this kind of like cringe emotion from reading his bio, and I was just like, yeah, this is what's going on. He needs to just not put so much pressure on it, because it feels like an interview. It feels like this is way too serious, right? It's supposed to start off like as a fun thing and see where it goes, and hopefully it can turn into something. I want us to bring out the best in each other. I genuinely want us to believe in each other, and that was a powerful moment that we had, because we both realized that we both really do see the best in each other. It's almost like we have rose-colored glasses for each other, not in like a bad way where we don't see, it's not like we don't acknowledge that either of us have any flaws at all. Like
yeah, because we're not open and we talk about.
Yeah, like we do have, you know, neither of us are perfect, and we acknowledge that. But the thing is, we do see the best in each other, and we want to bring that best out of each other. And there's been very few people in my life that have seen this. But I did have a friend of mine who, you know, taught me in sales, and he would constantly encourage me and say, "You're a phenomenal salesman." And he was one of the only people that did this for me, and he did that in the aspect of sales, whereas she's doing it kind of all around in general for me as a person. But it's so rare to find that in somebody, whether it's a friend, whether it's a partner. But if you have a partner that does that, it is really this magical synergy that you guys can have, because you guys are then bringing the best out of each other on an ongoing basis and helping each other become the best version of yourselves, which ultimately is just a really beautiful thing. So yeah. Anyways, guys, with that being said, like I said, we just wanted to drop this. Hopefully this gives you guys a little bit of insight into how our experience was with this whole thing. Like I said, gaining that clarity, knowing what you want, taking action. There is action that needs to be taken. Like if you also didn't create a Tinder account, this wouldn't have happened either, right? And then even the way that happened, like she messaged me first on Tinder, so she took action, she liked my profile. And which, like I said, I put work into making my profile stand out. And I really do think this goes again with there's importance to this here. Is as a guy, like you need to do that, because there's so many options. They've done like research with this. Without getting too nitty-gritty into it, it's just that the options are skewed in the dating market, especially as far as online dating. But anyways, back to the main thing that I want to leave this off with is just that organic energy. I was able to, in the conversation, she even had a couple of concerns. She was like, "Well, you're not gonna murder me, are you?" Because initially we were gonna go get margaritas at this sushi place that has sushi margaritas, but then they were closed. And I was like, "Well, I guess I'll have to make a margarita myself now." And she was like, "Oh, that sounds good." And I was like, I just kind of made a joke about that. I was like, no murder on my rap sheet or whatever. And it's just, again, about keeping things in the beginning stages like very lighthearted, because you don't want to make things too serious, especially in the beginning. But she ended up coming over. I was at my friend's house at the time, and things just kind of organically happened. And we ended up getting breakfast the day after. And because she kind of had this place that had coffee flights and it was sick. And really, we just had a genuinely authentic good time that happened organically. And that's what I would wish for you guys as well. So with that being said, I hope that this video was helpful. Drop me a like, drop me a comment. Let us know what you guys think about this. If you have any questions in the comments as well, I'll do my best to answer them in the most thorough way that I can. Although YouTube comments, there is a character limit, but I will try to answer those the best way that I can. Anyways, guys, thank you very much. Hit us with a subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next video.
Bye.